of this government to ensure that there is peace and order in this country. And we need also to have, you know, I have said from the beginning that opposition is a government in waiting. So as we demand order from the government, let the opposition also behave in a manner to suggest that they are garnering for that order. Because the reckless statements we are seeing from all the politicians, they are wrong. And you know, we can't just say that that is the nature of Kenyan politics. We must put a stop to insanity and begin a new Kenya. And we have a lot of history to learn from. And only fools do not learn from their past mistakes. We know the anarchy that was meted on Kenyans in 0708. Why would you want to go back there? Why would we wish that Kenya now is on its way to be in a banana republic and cheer up that? We, all of us, both opposition and the government, we need to come together and protect Kenya because we don't have any other country. And therefore, the kind of each and every leader, I'm so disappointed with Kibagenti. You can't call the people of Mount Kenya to tell them, you need to come forward and fight these people. You cannot do that. Because what are you trying to perpetrate? What made Kenyans fight in 0708? Because Raila Amolo Odinga and his ODM brigade said, even if we go to court, we won't get any justice. So can we go to the streets?
And that was before the new constitution.
And therefore,
now we have a new constitution and it's still not a remedy to anything.
So let us to punguze the temperatures because the temperatures are just too high.
Wakili,
if I get your money.
We thought and we hoped that with the new constitution, we were past whatever happened in 2007. We would conduct ourselves better.
So we know, even with the most colorful document governing us, called the Constitution of Kenya 2010, good leaders need to be in office to implement it. Today, as we speak, if the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, very energetic human being, if Murkomen, if Daudi Kanja, despite what Rigathi Gachagua will say, if they want to bring sanity in the security sector, it will take maximum, I think, a week. Because all they will need is a National Security Council. They do a meeting, they tap the NIS, they tap the military guys, they tap the National Police Service and all other multi-agencies as we know them, and there will be complete security. Rigathi Gachagua has not come quarter of what Raila Odinga was. Let's be honest. I mean, he is a very influential guy, at least in the Mount Kenya, but Raila Odinga was an enigma. And still, one security minister called Fred Matiang'i cooperated closely with the multi-agencies and Uhuru Kenyatta and actually made sure that they contained him. So to say that Rigathi Gachagua is excuse for skirmishes to happen around Nyahururu and Kisumu as they happened in the weekend is an excuse. So if the security agencies today make a decision that we do not want to see goonism and any insecurities in the country, actually it will happen. But that decision, Fred, has never been made. Everybody is touting. They are looking at who is saying what, and then they unleash some terror. Here is a small, I mean, one MP in Kisii, honestly. I mean, my good friend Zahir Janda, and you know, he's trying to come up, and then he's mobilizing people in a small market in Kisii, and they are throwing stones until somebody died. Do you want to tell me that that is because Musumbi and myself here were talking on media? This is because the security agencies have allowed that goonism to actually thrive. And that's why I'm saying, when you see a leader now saying, I think we are all alone, what do we do? Do we run into the thickets or do we defend ourselves? I think he's right to some extent. It's not good to retaliate, but Fred, you cannot sit in your own house and see your house burning and refuse to go and fetch water and actually put off the fire. If the security and if the goons are in bed and they are saying we must annihilate the community called Kenya, Kenya will have a right to defend itself.
And it reminds me of the fact that that case you've mentioned for Zahir Janda, the MP there, that the case file disappeared. And you wonder, okay, this is a year to the next election. No one seems ready to take any action against anyone. in as far as this violence is concerned. My concern now is not even Olkalau.
Yeah, and the problem we have is ourselves also. Why would my colleagues say that it is all of us or talk of the alternative government or opposition, while from a governance perspective, we have a constitution that is very clear. We have given IEBC the independence and the tools. We have given the IG the independence and the tools. The constitution allows that if these offices that we have created in the constitution do not give us the services that we require from them, we can go to the streets to protest or to picket. So you go to the streets to picket or to protest, and you find the state, instead of giving you security to express yourself, is sending goons, if I may borrow the word, to annihilate you. What would you do?
Next year we'll be marking 20 years since the very unfortunate events of 2007. 20 years later, a new constitution in place, 2 governments later, we are just looking forward to going to this election with that kind of mood. We're twende tukapigane sasa. Even as a female aspirant,
Yeah.
how does this make you feel that we are going into this election and anything goes? If you do not have goons...
I feel scared, actually, to be honest. Because like I'm telling you, I went to a funeral during the weekend as a candidate. And it was actually a friend. It's a private function because this is a funeral. I'm not going to a funeral of somebody that I do not know. But because they had that, we were in attendance at the funeral, your competitors start saying, oh, now you know, they're going to start saying one term. They're going to start talking about all the things that people want to hear because it's the truth, but they know it does not work for them. So what do? You make calls, come, kuja unilinde, kuja usiwache niaibishwe, usiwache nipate aibu, and you come with a whole multitude of people. Mm-hmm. Somebody speaks, people shout. It was just by good luck. In fact, I'm going to share the clip with you privately to see what happened. But you know, it can go out of hand.
It has already gone out of hand.
It can go out. No, I'm talking about this particular incident that I was in a funeral. That funeral, actually, you know, finally, the family did not even conclude the funeral in peace because they had to start saying now everything went haywire and the body had to be taken. It had to now go to be, you know, because the service was at a primary school compound. Yeah, because there were too many people. And then the body now had to just go home and ceremoniously. So who is to blame for this? And especially when the sitting members of the officials want to take over even private functions.
I may appear to belabor the point here, but it's a real concern that if you look at the elections in 2013, they were not as chaotic. However much they were very fiercely contested. 2017, this kind of violence was not witnessed. Even in 2022, despite the rivalry and the bitter politics that was there. But this time round, it would appear that as a country, we are ready to go to elections and violence will be a key factor.
Can I say, it's the decency of the leadership.
Yeah, Fred, let me say, from the onset, goonism, violence, this unethical behavior should be stopped. And of course, the government carries the biggest responsibility in ensuring that we have order in the country. And we have independent commissions like NCIC, the people who should be, you know, summoning leaders, calling leaders into order. But the other day we saw, and it is on record, we saw NCIC summoned Rigathi Gachagua. He actually said, I won't go there. How are we going to build the country with that kind of a behavior? We have seen, and I hope CS Murkomen will put this into reality. He said that he will arrest Rigathi Gachagua. I want to see that happen. That should happen. And any
He's very big on threats.
You see, MP should be elected. Even the kind of nonsense we are seeing him giving out money, dishing out money to, you know, in public, it is wrong. We need to see action being taken. But I want my sister to get me right when I'm saying that even the people who are not in government, they also have a responsibility to bring order in this country. Rigathi Gachagua is full of giving press conferences. I think in a week he does almost 15 of them.
Harmless.
Harmless. In those pressers, can we see some sense of responsibility, some sense of order? Because he is the de facto opposition leader today in Kenya. Can we see him calling people to order?
And if he is the problem, can he be arrested?
He should. Why can't he be arrested?
How is he the problem?
That is why I'm saying, let Murkomen put this into reality. Awache kupatiane tu
You see, Fred,
vitisho. Let us see it being...
Senator Vitisho Baridi. Bwana Murkomen Vitisho Baridi. Can you do something?
I want to see the arrest of Rigathi Gachagua. I want to see the arrest of Kibagenti for this kind of utterances. I want to see the arrest of the Kisii, that Kisii
MP
guy who is giving out money and supporting goons. This is the kind of a situation
so Fred,
in this country.
Fred,
Yes.
it would be beautiful to arrest Rigathi Gachagua after you have about 1,000 goons in police cells. So that Rigathi will remain himself and he has to be arrested. But, just to try to, if you say you have to go for the honor of the dog, then what happens about government itself? Who is in charge of sponsoring? When you talk about a gun, ordinarily, unless it's an illegal gun, guns are, tools in the hands of police. So when you say there was a grenade and you are actually either a police chief or a minister for security, that's an embarrassment. I mean, if you talk about guns, you know how many guns are in this region and how many guns are in the other region. So if goons are using guns, first and foremost, we presume those are police officers. And if they are not, they should be behind bars. So if you arrest all these goons, as we have identified them in terms of how they cause mayhem in political rallies, then you can come, and the country will support you to arrest Rigathi Gachagua. But unless you arrest goons, then you go for Rigathi Gachagua. You're just looking for anarchy. And that will not
growing up, anyone who just issued threats and failed to take action on the threats, you're the coward. This is what CS Murkomen said.